All right, ESPN.com had a deal where they were saying which college lineup that's currently in the NFL would be the best lineup, and it came down to Alabama, Ohio State, and LSU.
I mean, can you really do the exercise with anybody else? I don't think you can field your Mississippi State Bulldogs all NFL team.
And there is some Bammers that are mad online because the LSU Tigers come in at number 1.
Well, I can't believe that Alabama's mad. They're coming off that Capital One Bowl win. That was huge.
I love hearing that. Like more of that.
I mean, if you think I'm going to stop making fun of Alabama after that season, I haven't been in this position 10 years. Sweet right. Capital One Bowl win, dudes.
And Hunt and I, when we were talking about this like all of these things, if you think, oh, it's an ESPN.com article, ESPN is the worldwide leader. We know that. All these things, all these tools are big for recruiting. You send this link, hey, here you go, recruit. Here you go, recruit. Here you go, recruit. That is gigantic because they love to be able to open their phone up. LSU recruiting. Here's an article. Bam. Number 1 as far as LSU, NFL, best team, beat Bama, beat Ohio State. And, of course, the quarterback on this team, Joe Burrow.
Joe B.
The running backs on this team, Leonard Fournette and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. The receivers on this team, Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry. Offensive line, this is amazing. You can do this with current guys in the NFL. Whitworth, Trey Turner, Lloyd Cushenberry, Ethan Posick, and Lyle Collins. That offense, pretty damn good.
I'm trying to think what the best unit on the team is. I mean, Odell and Jarvis is pretty good at wide receiver. Of course, everyone's going to point to DB, where you're going to have Pat Pete, Shaq White, Jamal, Tyron.
Listen to the defense, though. The offense, good. Defense, Daniil Hunter, Michael Brockers, Gottschall, Caleb Von Chason.
Pretty good.
Salty defensive line. Deion Jones, Devin White, Quan Alexander.
That's a lot of speed at linebacker.
Pretty good linebacking core. The DBs, Tre'Davious White, Patrick Peterson, Tyrann Mathieu, Jamal Adams.
I mean, just think of the guys that aren't on the list. I mean, start talking about some pretty good players.
The biggest strength for this team, ESPN.com, defensive back. That's an obvious statement. That's when you talk about 3 of those guys, if I'm not mistaken, were all pro last year. Tre'Davious, right. Tyrann Mathieu, and Jamal Adams.
Mm-hmm.
I think all of those guys, I know 3 of them were on the all-decade team. Tre'Davious wasn't there yet, but right. I think Pat Pete, Tyrann, and Jamal were all considered for that.
And you got that blend. Like, you got guys like Pat Pete, who's been in the league for a long time. Whitworth, it seems like he's been around forever. And then you got some fresh blood in there with guys like Burrow and Clyde. I mean, I feel like Jefferson's got a chance to have a really good NFL career. You think about some of the guys on this team. I mean, Patrick Queen's not on that list.
Yep. First-round pick, obviously.
I think Darius, we haven't heard the last from Darius Geis either.
It says the missing pieces, tight end, interior offensive line, and said guys like Thaddeus Moss and Stephon Sullivan could, be a tight end on this team. And it also mentions Damian Lewis. It was hard to pick between Cushenberry and Damian Lewis. They went with Cushenberry because he could play center, and Damian Lewis is a guard.
But it's impressive that you can field an entire team because, like I said, can't really do that with Cal.
Could you even field one side of the ball with Cal?
Well, Aaron Rodgers could just take the ball and run around. Is Deshaun Jackson still?
Give it to Marshawn Lynch.
Is Deshaun Jackson still around?
Yeah.
We could just throw it deep to him.
The player pitch from Jarvis Landry. It translates to the NFL. Mostly every guy you have seen come from LSU has had the opportunity to play right away or within their first 2 years and make an impact. We just added more swagger and more guys who are ready to play and know how to play the game at a high level.
Tell me about the sideline during the national championship game.
Oh, my God. It was a who's who. I mean, it was every LSU impactful player that the last
when you watch
20 years.
And everyone has watched the highlights during this pandemic of the Clemson game. Like, you've just done it. Boog is on the sideline he's running with Jefferson. When Jefferson jukes that guy and starts taking off down the field, he's running with him. His shirt's untucked. I mean, and you look at some of the reactions, some of the players. It had to be pretty cool to be down there and be a part of what was.
I'm trying to think of the guys that I know I saw on that sideline: OBJ, Jarvis, Foster, Lyle, Daniil Hunter.
Jeremy Hill was there.
Jeremy Hill, who we had on the show this week. Brockers was down there. Devin White was down there. Tre'Davious was down there. Tyron was down there. I don't remember seeing Maul or Pat Pete, but I'm pretty sure they were there.
I mean, was there an effort made by LSU to get people there, or was that just as many people that requested, hey, I'm coming?
That's both. That's one of the things, and Coach O's vocal about it. He welcomes all those guys back.
Well, it's like you said, it's important to be vocal, to be visible. Don't tell me after the national championship game that having Ryan Clark and Marcus Spears smoking cigars on a rooftop in New Orleans talking to Stephen A. Smith is not positive for your program. To have your alums proud of that school, proud of that program, and visible, whether that's on social media, whether that's on ESPN, whether that's on the sideline during the games, it's a big deal to be cool, to get people to listen, because we know LSU is going to be able to sell itself to the state, to people that go to high school and grow up here. But to go outside and get guys outside the state, that's how you win championships. And LSU's up until last year was running a little bit behind Alabama, was running behind Clemson, was even running behind Ohio State. You could make an argument because of the conference they play in, but Oklahoma was doing a really good job of getting in the playoff every year and was probably a better national brand in terms of showing up in the big games. But LSU's flipped that, and they've got to continue to ride it.
Our guy Nick checks in and says he actually has Pat Pete in his pregame bass drum cam video. So Pat Pete was there as well.
Pete was there.
That stuff is important. It truly is. It's important for all the reasons you just mentioned, but just to have the cool school.
Yeah.
To say, man, if I go to LSU, like I'm going to be dapping it up with OBJ and Jarvis and soon to be Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Joe Burrow and all these guys, all those faces. That stuff's important. You mentioned having Marcus Spears, Booger McFarland, Ryan Clark, having those guys on TV like that. All that stuff plays into recruiting. It didn't 15 years ago. It does today. Instagram stars, OBJ, Jarvis, all those guys, right? They've got all these followers. That stuff is important. Twitter. And why would you not welcome them back? Say, hey, no, we want you to come. Now, Coach O invites everybody back. It doesn't matter if you played in 1989 like Gordy, if you played in 07 like me, or it doesn't matter. He invites everybody back, but he also recognizes how important it is to have those guys around and in the locker room too.